Hello historical people, welcome. Finally made it outside. Today I'm going to go over some basic longswords. Some of you have been asking about basic longsword for some reason. Now, I'm no expert in longsword, but I definitely am basic. So what we're going to do is just go over some of what I'd say the initial concepts and some things that will really sort of, I don't know, help you get better at longsword quicker. Okay, so first of all, I will admit I'm left-handed, so things might look a little weird, but just hold it in your dominant hand. I'll try to refer to dominant side and whatever side as we go on. So first things first, how do you hold one? So you want your knuckles to be in line with your crossguard, okay? That way you know where your blade is. I don't really do thumb grippy stuff, so if you want that, go somewhere else. Basically, how to stand with it. The best way is, I don't really care so long as that point is towards your opponent, okay? Why? Because that creates a constant threat, okay? If they do something stupid, they're walking onto that point. Guard-wise, let's just go super basic. You have point-up guards, where your handle's down and your point is up. You'll hear this kind of position known as like flug or plow or something. Then you have point-down guards. So these are your ox or whatever, okay? People do talk about having all these other positions. Don't worry about them. Maybe a third, let's say, is your fools or your lower guard, where your sword's down there, you're looking tired, you're chilling out, okay? So worry about those three, don't worry about the rest. How do you fight with a longsword? So first things first, I'll show this from the side, so it might look a little easier. So I'm stood here with my sword out like that. If I want to send an attack out, briefly, I have to come to my shoulder. I have to, you can shoot straight out there. But if you want a nice strong strike, briefly up to that shoulder, and then you cast out like you're fishing. If you're familiar with fishing, pretend you've got a rod and you cast out, okay? Obviously, the more you get used to it, do not pull it all the way back. Just coming up there, and you want to telegraph as little as possible. But cast it out like a fishing rod, okay? Why that? Why not just bang? Because if you just sweep it down, you lose a lot of range and you end up down here, which, you know, you can work from. But if this is my first exchange, my first action, you know, I'm expecting the opponent to be either sending something back in a riposte or whatever, okay? Want to be ready. So as I send it out, I'm casting it like a fishing rod, and I want to sort of hold this center line, okay? I don't want to be coming all the way over here, overextending myself, etc., etc. If I need to get closer, I don't want to be leaning, because that puts me in a really stupid position. Cast it out. If I need to move closer, I'll step, okay? You can generate force by just moving forward, so always remember that. And what I'm going to do, after I've casted it out, I'll come up into a guard, or I'll retreat back to normal, depending on what I think my opponent's going to do, okay? So if I think they're going to attack back, I might come up here. Maybe I've got a cheeky thrust. Maybe that just covers my head long enough to get out of there. That can be higher, it can be more like a hanging. Just don't stand out like that too long, but at the same time, don't give that position up too quickly either. Anyway, strikes, you've got that first one. I said that's what we call angle one. So it's from your dominant side, going high, low, diagonally. You've then got angle two, which is the opposite side, high, low, diagonally, from your non-dominant side. Angle three, which comes up. I kind of feel like I'm starting a mower, if you're familiar with that. And you kind of just pull that up. You'll end up with a nice, strong, hanging guard type thing. Then we have angle four, which is the opposite to three from your non-dominant side, coming up like that, which can be awkward at first because your arms will be crossed over. We'll talk about that. So mechanics of a longsword, something that a longsword gives you that other weapons don't, is you have a lever action, okay? So if I push and pull with my hands, I can create this nice little chopping motion, which is really good. If I've cast out, I can get another quick little chop off that. The other one is the hand twist. Because I've got the two hands on there, when I pronate, supinate, whatever, I can really turn the sword over really quickly. So if I'm just here, I can just turn the sword. You see it goes from left to right very quickly, very swiftly. And again, if I've attacked there, bang, I can attack the other side very quickly with my arms extended in that same position. Okay, so we call something like this warding. So if I've attacked out, I maintain a strong position. Some people might call this a version of long point, whatever. But I can twist or I can flick a nice quick attack off there if I need to. Otherwise, I can just respond and move into another protected position. So if you're starting out, you don't know what to do, what I recommend is angles 1 through 4, just practice them. So come back, there, come back. Okay, basic little drill, cast it out, send it up, and then start again, just flow through that. Then what I'd suggest is go through that and return to the higher guards, okay, and then mix it up. So maybe do 1 lower guard, 1 higher guard, 1 lower guard, 1 higher guard, stuff like that. Just play around with it. When you start off, you might find that you're just sending them really close to your body. When you get a chance, you could always practice both of those. So there are times where you might need to cut short, but realistically try to cast it all out so you've got that bit of extension, you've got that room between you and your opponent, and you're maximising your reach. Again, with none of these do I want to be leaning forward when I do it. It's very often that you want to. We call that overextending. What this does is completely ruins your structure. If I'm over here, I haven't got the same powers, I haven't got the same structure behind me to block anything or do anything reasonable. It's much can be harder to send things, and you might pull you back out being an idiot. So when you're new, you'll get hit loads, you'll get beaten by other people that have been doing it longer. That's how everything works. Prioritize your structure and worry about delivering things with your feet, okay? So let's say that's where my attack goes. I'm not close enough. I need to get closer, and I'm going to do that with my feet as opposed to leaning out to sacrifice my own structure just to maybe get a hit. Okay. Another pointer that I'd suggest is it's very easy to focus on get the hit. When we all come into this, that's what we're worried about. All we want is to get the hit and get out. Or mostly we just want to get the hit. We don't think about getting out. But worry about, basically assume that none of your attacks are going to land and you'll do okay. Because if I miss with that, I need to be ready for whatever's about to come next. And that's how you want to approach doing this. Because of the way the longsword works, it's a more structured weapon than some of your single-handed stuff, okay? You have the opportunity to hold these stronger positions. So get used to maintaining good structure from the beginning. What does that look like? Basically, I'm stood up straight and my sword is usually to one side or the other, so that I've got the full leverage of my body behind that, whether that's up here, whether it's down there. And that's all you should really need to worry about until you get more used to it. Really do practice the lever action and the supination, pronation, spinny, twisty thing. It's got lever and you've got twisty bullshit. Work on those and you'll find the game gets a lot easier. You will knacker your arms out. It is more tiring than just throwing full body cuts. And notice when I'm sending these full body cuts, there's like space in between where I'm open for that little second. So if I miss that or they block that, then there's that little bit of time they can just bang, especially if they're more sport fancy type. Whereas if I'm here, there, there's less room for them to push in. They might still hit your arms fairly frequently. I'd rather take a hit to the arms and hit to the core. So yeah, that's my basic advice for longsword. Hopefully that's useful for some of you. See you in a bit.